Okay, today guys, we're going to be exploring the Laplace and inverse Laplace methods. So, as you can see, this is the formula sheet for the Laplace and inverse Laplace. On the left side, you can see that this is before you Laplace your question. On the right side is what happens after you Laplace. On the right side is also before you inverse Laplace. On the left side is after you inverse Laplace. Okay, so today we're going to explore the first few methods, mainly these few right here, the first 5. Okay. The first question we're going to explore is this. With the t method, the first method is t power n, your n being a constant. When you Laplace it, gives you n factorial over s n plus 1. Okay, so using this formula, we can assume that n is equals to 2. So putting it into formula, which is this as n plus 1. This will give us 2 factorial over s2 plus 1, which will give us 2 over s power 3. Now, with 3t, we'll use the other method, which is this. ut, or 1, when you Laplace it, it will give you 1 over s. The s must be greater than 0. So in this case, it's 3. So it will be 3 over s squared. Since there's already a t, this counts as an s. So you add another s to it. And last, and a non-algebraic but a constant number, when you Laplace it, it will just be 4 over s. That's how you do the first question. Okay, so now we're going to explore the second formulas regarding exponents. The first is e power at. When you Laplace it, it will give you 1 over s minus a. The second formula is when you have a constant that multiplies with e power at, it will give you 1 over s minus a whole thing squared. So now we're gonna explain using this example. With this first term, for e power t, we can use the second formula. As you can see, t e power at, when you Laplace it, it will give you 1 over s minus a whole thing squared. So 4 being a constant, we will leave it outside. And we have e power t. In this case, our a is 1. So putting into formula, we have s 1 over s minus our a, which is 1, whole thing squared. Now, referring to the second term, which is e power negative 2t, we can use the first formula, which is this, e power at, which will give us 1 over s minus a. Putting that into the formula, it will be minus 1 over s minus our a. Our a in this case is a minus 2. So it will be minus 2 minus, so minus 2, which will give us plus 2. And 4 times 1 over s minus 1 whole thing squared, that will give us 4 over s minus 1 whole thing squared, as this. And there is our answer. Okay, so lastly, we're going to explore our trigo methods. We have sine kt. When you Laplace it, it will give you k over s squared plus k squared. And you have cosine kt, When you Laplace it, it will give you s over s squared plus k squared. Now, let's try using this example. With cosine, we can use the cosine formula, which is cosine kt. Laplacing it, it will give you s over s squared plus k squared. So, 2 being the constant, we'll leave it out. And we have our k. In this case, our k is 1. So, it will be s over s squared plus 1 squared. Now, with our sine, same thing with the cosine, we have a 3. And the 3 is a constant, so we'll leave the constant out. Now, sine, we have the k. The k is half. So, putting it into the formula, we can have half over s squared plus half squared. Now, simplifying the entire formula, the entire equation, we have 2s over s squared plus 1 plus 3 times 2, because half over its denominator will give it 2. So this will be 6 over s squared plus half squared. And this is your answer.
Okay guys, as what Jonathan has explained from doing a Laplace method, which means it's from here to here, now I'm going to teach you how to do the inverse Laplace, which means I'm doing it reversely from here to here. So how do we do it? For an example, let's go to an example. We have inverse Laplace 1 over s to the power of 5. So this is how we're going to do the Laplace method. We will see the method that is going to work for this question, which is the Tn equals to n factorial over Sn plus 1. Okay, and this is how we're going to do it. Okay, first thing, we should always write down the method. It's the most important thing in exams, so you can score marks at the same time. Okay, now we need to know what is the n, the most important thing, which is the n. And how do we know what's the n is? Since you know this is a method and this is 5, so simple. We just have to n, which is n plus 1 equals 5. So n equals to 5 minus 1. So n equals to 4. So we know that the n is actually 4. But this is where the tricky part comes in. When 4 factorial over s4 over plus 1, what does 4 factorial means? It means 4 factorial means equals to 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. This is the meaning of what? This is the meaning of factorial. If you guys don't even know what's the meaning of factorial, okay? And now, if we all times this together, we get 24. But when they give you the answer, it's 1 over s to the power of 5. How do we get 1 here? This is where the tricky part comes in. So focus. So if we just have to sub 4 exclamation mark 24. So it's 24 over s4 plus 1. How do we move it there? So simple, equals, we just divide 24, which means we 1 over 24 times 24 over s4 plus 1. And what does this mean? Straight back to the method. It means 1 over 24 times t and n, which is 4. So we get 1 over 24 t4. So simple. Okay guys, now let's move on to a more challenging question, which is e to the power of at, which gives you 1 over s minus a. In a normal Laplace, this is how you do it, but now since we're going to do it the inverse Laplace again, we're going to work backwards, which means it's from 1 over s minus a. How are we going to move back to exponential to the power of at? This, don't have to worry, it's damn simple. Okay, first this is the example. Inverse Laplace 2 over s minus 3. This is our first example. Okay, and the method we're going to use, as I said earlier, is exponential power a to the t equals to 1 over s minus a. Now the first thing you should do when you see a equation is to write down the method. So we'll write down the method now. T equals to 1 over s minus a. Okay, now we can move to the question. Since, as you can see, we have s minus 3 and 3 will be the a, so a equals to 3. So we know that this a will be 3, so we can immediately change it to e 3t equals to 1 over s minus a. Okay, now the question is, how do we change this to 2? As you know that we cannot just magically change it to 2, so this is how we're going to change it to 2. Before it was 2, it was s minus a, 3 bracket. So now how are we going to change this to 2? It's so simple, we just have to times half to it. As you know, if we cross multiply, we'll get 2 over s minus 3. And as you know that 1 over s minus 3 equals to e 3t. So we just have to sub this and we'll get half e 3t. And this will be our final answer. Thank you.